What's up guys, today I'm going to bring you guys my keybinds and settings on Destiny 2 on PC as of right now. This will be a PvE speedrunner / challenge point of view for what I feel like is going to be the best setup for efficiency and whatnot, because there's a big difference between just typical play and speedrunning where you want keys and whatnot. Anyways, PC beta has been great so far. It feels so good, so smooth. Literally no issues at all. Obviously there's still issues with some technical stuff, but it's still a beta and it's not going to be released for 2 months for a reason, because it's still in development. But just as of right now, how it feels is probably one of the best PC games I've ever played. It feels so good. Anyways, let's get into some stuff here. So controls, I have my sensitivity on 10. Feels pretty good. It's kind of on the low end of the highest side, I would say. I mean, it goes up a lot higher, and obviously it goes down to 1. But I think 10's happy medium. If you played like on 7 through 10 on controller, 10 is probably going to be good on PC. Then I have the ADS on 0.9, so it's a little bit slower when I aim down sights. It just feels nice. Some people have it even lower, but Destiny 1 on controller didn't have any ADS modifier. It was just like the 0.1, the same as your regular sensitivity. But on a mouse, it feels a little bit nicer to have it just a bit slower. Some people use 0.8, maybe even slower, but I like 0.9. Well, this is all the same. Controller. And for key mapping, I have obviously my movements all the same. That's not a binding right now, because who cares? If it's a really big deal, I'll put on some random key. Emotes are the same. Well, push to talk, I have one wide. That doesn't really matter. It's just wherever key is open that you want to push. And I do recommend having a push to talk, because if not, your mic is going to be open mic the entire time unless you manually mute it. Return to orbit, I have it on F. That's the closest key I had. I didn't have anything on F, so I just put on F because it's close. You don't have to move your hand, which is pretty nice. Originally it's on O, so you'd have to physically move your hand over or move your right hand over or something. Which it's not really a big deal, because you're not going to be doing that during gameplay, but if you have once you're all said and done, if you have a key close to your hand, you might as well put it on that. Fire, same. Melee, on Voidwalker, Warlock, I have melee on E right now, and I'll explain this after I'm done. Toggle zoom, there's no binding, that's default. If you're a person that likes toggle, just put it on your right mouse button. Basically unbind that and put it there. Reload R, typical stuff. Light attack. My block keeps on getting unbinded. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a beta glitch. But light attack, left click, heavy attack, right click, that's default. Then block. I have it on my melee button, which should be E. There we go. I have block on my melee button because the light, heavy, and block are all for swords, and when you have a sword out, you're not going to be meleeing, so you might as well put block as your melee button. Kind of makes sense. I think I'm going to put it on mouse 1 though, or mouse 3 I mean. Basically, if you're watching this guide, I'm using a mouse with 2 buttons on the side by your thumb. Most gaming mouse, almost all of them have that these days. So that's mouse 3 and mouse 4, top one and bottom one. So I have block on mouse 3. Which makes the most sense. I don't know why that diagram, it's not the correct one. I don't know why it does that. Then jump, I still have one. Spacebar. Hold sprint. If you're a person that likes holding sprint and control, basically you just unbind this, put it there, and unbind that and put it there. But toggle feels really nice, especially for sprint. Now I can see you putting hold crouch on maybe as a thing, but if you're like, for sliding, it's really convenient just pressing shift once and pressing control once and it doing it basically for you and not having to like hold it. Then class ability, I have it on C, which is actually default, which it just works out because that's the easiest fingers for your index finger to hit are E and C. Obviously D is even easier, but D's a movement button, so that works pretty well. X is like air dodges and whatnot, which is only on Dawnblade as of now, I believe. So I didn't really care about that, but if you do, work that in somewhere. Now interact, I have on my mouse 4 button, and this is for an important reason for speedrunning. This is interact is basically putting out your ghost, reviving, anything like that. And especially for putting out ghosts in speedrunning, when you're approaching a ghost, you want to be able to move at all times and hold the button as you move closer to it so you can start putting it out as soon as possible. If you have interact on anything that uses your left hand, that means one of your fingers will not be moving, will not be able to move on WASD at the same time. So if you have interact on E, which is default, let's say there's a ghost up to the right of you, you won't be able to move to the right as you put out the ghost. So this is a must for PvE, speedrunning, and high-end to have interact on your mouse. For that reason. Then grenade. Oh, I see. So the thing about this game that's really weird, you can't have two things be the same button, which is unfortunate. So for block, I'd have to figure out something to put on block, because whenever you set, if you set two things at the same keybind, it takes away one of them. Anyways, so I have grenade on mouse 3, and for Voidwalker Warlock, I like it on my mouse because you need to charge your grenade. Well, you don't have to, but in a lot of situations you are going to be charging your grenade. And once again, just like the ghost thing, if there's a key on your left hand that you're trying to hold for an extended amount of time, you won't be able to move at the same time. And for that reason, when you're charging a grenade on Warlock, and if it was on your left hand, you wouldn't be able to move in one of the directions at the same time. That's why you need it on your mouse for Voidwalker Warlock. If you're not playing that subclass, you could probably put melee here and put grenade on E. But on Voidwalker, I like melee E and grenade on my mouse for that reason. Super, I have it on Q. That's just because I played Overwatch and it just feels right. Doesn't really matter. I'd probably recommend, if you're new to a keyboard, I'd put super on like F or V or Z or something along those lines, because it's really easy to fat finger Q or E when you're new to keyboard. You get used to it over time, but if that's the issue at first, don't put it as Q because it's pretty easy to fat finger. And I use mouse wheel to change weapons, and I think in the long run it's gonna be better. It doesn't take a lot of muscle memory to get down, like depending on which weapon you have, if you need to scroll up for the next weapon or scroll down for whichever weapon you want. But for the buttons, as of now, I have switch weapon as 1, and switch weapon basically is the equivalent of pressing Y once. It just takes out your head or your primary or special weapon. It just changes between those two and those two only. And I have heavy on 3, so I don't use 2. I just use 1 to get back and forth between the two first weapons, and 3 like your heavy. So basically, button 1 is like pressing Y or whatever it is on PlayStation Triangle, and 3 is basically like holding the button. But like I said, mouse wheel, I feel like is gonna be better in the long run because of the fact that you're not gonna have to move your fingers while you're doing it. It just will take some muscle memory where you're not misclicking which weapon you're getting to. Vehicle, we don't even have vehicles in the game, so it's hard to tell like what's gonna be good here. I feel like these settings are kind of weird, but we'll just have to see. Like, I feel like these two should be changed, but like I said, there's not even a vehicle for us to test it. Then here, this is one of the sickest parts about the PC beta for some reason for me. These shortcuts. Basically, this one and this one are the two most important ones. I like this one on V because it's super easy to hit. And this one in G is, you're not going to be hitting it when you're hitting it, it's not going to be that important. Basically, this one is going to be like when you're in a speedrun where you open your menu, go to your character, change weapons, or pop a synth, or basically it's that menu. It's the menu we're in right now, this menu. And this shortcut right here is what opens it up. So you're in the middle of speedrun, you just quickly hit V, then you go over to the right using D, and you pop your synth or whatever. If there's synths in the game, we don't know. But next video, obviously I have full screen and I'm using shadow play to record. And I really don't like windowed because it takes away from the smoothness of the game. And if you don't think that's true, just play on full screen, then play on windowed and compare them. And that's how most PC games are. So basically, I can't record with OBS as of now, but I might try to set up Elgato and see how it works, but I don't know. Resolution, you just, whatever your base monitor resolution is. VSync, I have it off, because all VSync does is capture FPS at weird values every once in a while. And this game really doesn't have that much screen tear, so VSync isn't really necessary. But if you have like a super high-end PC rig and monitor, I mean, you just turn it on, it won't really bother you. Field of view, I have it maxed. FOV is basically how much of the environment in front of you can see on your screen. It basically, for people that played console their entire life, watching 105 FOV will look like it's in a telescope. But if you're new to PC, just bump this up. At default, it's 85. Just bump it up like 5 at a time over time, and you'll get used to it, and it'll be better in the long run, and it'll feel better. Now, you don't have to go all the way up to 105, like 100 feels pretty good, but I played on 100 for a while now on other games, so I just bumped it up to 105. Screen bounds, whatever, brightness, whatever. These video settings, they're actually really nice as default. The only thing I changed is depth of field. I made it high instead of low, and that's it. And you can turn up these settings, depending on your graphics card, you can turn these up a lot. As you can see right up here is my VRAM usage. I have a 1063 gig, and as you can see, I still have 400 megs left or whatever, but you don't want to necessarily max it out where you're like making your GPU overload a lot, and especially with recording on top of this, you don't really want to get too high. So if you have like a 1066 gig or a 1070, 1080, whatever, you can probably up almost all of these really high without even dropping below 120 frames. This stuff, wherever it's the same. Sound, if you have mix amp, you want to turn this crap down, as you know. Blah blah blah, all that stuff. I have green reticle because green, I don't know. FPS display on, that's one thing you need to do. This stuff you want to turn off. Basically what that does is in the text chat, if I type, it says my full battle tag, which if you guys want to add me, go ahead and add me, that's cool. But if someone else typed it, wouldn't say their full battle tag necessarily. And if I turn this on, it would say my full name right there instead of my battle tag, which is not good. So you definitely want to turn that stuff off. The profanity filter, just if you like memes, leave it on because it's just funny looking at all like the symbols instead of the actual words. But it's whatever. And yeah, I think that's basically it. So yeah, one last thing, I don't know if we're gonna actually speedrun that much in this beta because we no life the console beta and nothing has changed since, and actually some of the patches they put out for the PC beta only hurts us for that run, so we're not gonna be able to beat the time necessarily for the strike because we didn't get better. Not saying that the strike time is unbeatable, it's just that we didn't get anything new compared to the console beta, so there's nothing new to work with. Some of the glitches that were patched that affected that run were the being able to glide while blinking, which that's more of a convenience thing. We're just used to it. As we play more and more without it, we'll obviously get that out of our muscle memory, but as of now it's kind of like weird. Then also the infinite grenade thing, which we didn't use for ad clear, we actually used for one person to kill himself to death warp. But other than that, the beta is literally the same, so you can only do the same that we did on the console, so really no point doing it, and I don't think anyone wants to after we spent all of our time on it. If Tfue wants to, we'll probably do it with him, but other than that, we're not going to do it. And the mission is basically, my run was pretty good, and for the same reason, the beta didn't change at all. So there's no point really grinding for like 1 second faster, you know, or whatever. But anyways, we're just gonna use this beta mostly just get used to the PC and all that and just enjoy it. And yeah, thanks for watching. I might have some like PvP highlights or whatever. I've been tearing it up. So yeah, see you guys next time.